Some brands scale profitably with 50 ads and other brands 5,000. Why is that? And which one are you? Let's find out. So here's the myth. There's a universal number that everybody should be running for Facebook ads in their ad account. 50, 100, 2,000. Here's my list of 100 hooks that you need to try before you do anything else. All of these things that LinkedIn and Instagram and everybody else that we follow in the business world is pushing on us because it's their quick trick or their hack for your ad account. But most often than not, when you actually have either an agency or someone help you with the ad account that says all those things, it's different. They say, well, performance is, dependent on this. We're trying to get this number up, but your product is this. So the curtain is revealed and it becomes a very custom per brand number that nobody really knows how to figure out. So let's start with the key factors that make a low volume account of this 50 creative model. They have evergreen winners. They're testimonials, they're before and afters, they're things that just resonate with people because they have the results that they are looking for within that particular niche. This could be relief to back pain, come into our office. Great, local area, easy problem solution, customers there. Brands with a lot of product diversity naturally refresh creative every time they make creative for a new product or for a different type of angle or unique selling proposition. If you're a car washing brand, then you're going to have the different things that wash the dashboard, the different product that washes the outside, maybe it's a scrubby, maybe it's a stain remover, whatever it is. Those are all individual problems that the customer might be having, and so you don't need to spin that 1,000 different ways. The product speaks for itself, so you don't really need to do as much speaking for it. Efficiency trumps volume. If your ads are working, don't mess it up. Just leave them as they are. Find a few iterations that also start working and test it and really see if it's a backbone that will last a long time and that you can continue using. Because everybody wants to reinvent the wheel. They think that the other, amount of money is sitting on the other side of another great ad. And a lot of the times they don't recognize what they have and just focusing and zoning in and doubling down on that. So if you have 10 ads that are just crushing it in your account right now and you're pretty happy with your margins, then just leave it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. If this is your brand, 50 ads can do the work of 5,000 ads. Now let's talk about the high volume ad accounts, the 5,000 creatives running at any given moment. Now chances are a lot of them are not performing. This is more of a spread fire approach, and it's not that it's not calculated creative, it's just that they have not yet dialed exactly who they're speaking to, what resonates with them, and all of these factors that make a strong creative strategy. It generally means that they're slightly a more immature brand, or they're just a very aggressive testing brand. So if you're not trying to actively test all these new demographics and products and all these new things, and you want to have a little more conservative of an ad budget, I would not recommend with going this high quantity route. In fact, the brands I've worked with, I've looked in the ad accounts and I have recognized the ones that are not performing by any means, and they were just tests or they were just a smaller bet. And it makes me giggle because a lot of people's reference of other people's brands' top performers are actually just a bunch of ads that are sent out there that hold no value because they're not making transactions. So it can be very deceiving, and I want you to take it with a grain of salt when you're looking in their ad account. So the easy equation there is if you are allocating like 15 to 20% of your ad spend budget to creative testing, then you're going to have to supply a lot more creative to keep up with that, because it's going to be fresh, different, unique, and all of these different things to try. But it doesn't have to be that way if you just want to give all of your ad spend to the most efficient ads. And that leads me into my third point about these high volume ad accounts, which is that creative needs to keep up with the budget. If you set out, we want to spend $5 million this next month, you probably are going to need a heck of a lot of creative, and you should not undermine that and don't assume that you can just find 50 winners and run with those and scale those up. I would anticipate a much higher volume at that budget because you will experience creative fatigue the faster that you spend. I've seen this in ad accounts that are spending a lot of money per day. We're talking about like $1 million in a day. Of course, the amount of demographic that they are reaching will dwindle as they start getting to the outskirts of that spend, because the spend is really just reaching all these people, and once they get too far, then they start losing efficiency and they start going down in value, and those same people have seen that ad over the course of, I don't know, a month, and they're tired of seeing it, so you experience creative fatigue. And this is why you need a fresh look to your brand if you're scaling that hard in your ad account. Unfortunately, if you are stuck in a position where you have a super high churn on your ads, regardless of the spend that you're putting at, then it means that you are in a position where if you turn off the ads, your account will die. And often your brand will die because you're just starting and you're trying to get whatever to work, and you're throwing all this money towards ad spend, and you're starting to get worried that it will all crumble if you stopped tomorrow. And that is likely the case, and that's why Coca-Cola probably does not run 5,000 ads in their ad account. They are established, they are strong, so they don't need to do that. They can just go hard on specific campaigns that they're doing. So it is very valuable to get to a point where you find what works really well consistently and get to the point where you have a lot less ads running in your account because they are more efficient. Also, a quick tip, if you are at a point where you're just not getting enough out of your concepts, then you can make a bunch of variations, like different sizes for different placement, or different hooks. Maybe the hooks are failing and that, body of the creative was really good and you can actually just test it again. I would launch with a few different variations to ensure that it gives your creative the best chance. This is also a good way to give the best bang for your buck when you're getting creative produced. It's a lot easier to tack on a few variations than all new concepts, especially if you're having any sort of production company make you something. If they're already set up, why not just try a few different hooks? This is a little bit of a no-brainer, but I wanted to include it for a few of you that maybe aren't focusing on that right now. But that airs on the smaller ad account side, because once you get to so many concepts needing to be different, you need to start using those hours, those editing hours, and put them towards new concepts as opposed to just a bunch more variations of a concept that's not really working. So here's how to figure out which side you're on. First is the evergreen share. How many of your ads have been running for longer than 30 days? If not that many, then you're probably in the 5,000 ad range and not so much the 50. The next is ad concentration. If you have found 5 ads that are just eating up your ad account and it's really hard to give budget to anything else because those 5 are going so hard, this is where I differ from my point of it being a good thing. It often means that you are lacking the evergreen creative to go long term and to be a sustainable amount of your ad account, which is evergreen, meaning that you need a higher volume of evergreen creative and you need to start figuring out what that is, which would then suggest that you need to increase your creative volume. The third is budget plans. If you're planning to scale up aggressively, then you should plan on scaling up your content amount as well. This also seems like a no-brainer, but a lot of people just want to throw more money at it when they actually need to give more time, attention, and understanding around what their creative strategy is for producing that amount of creative that will keep up with that spend. So don't neglect it. This framework helps you diagnose your account's creative demand. So the truth is there is no one size fits all. Your ad account is going to be different than the guy that's only running 10 ads or the guy that's running 5,000. Regardless, you need to be able to understand what the content is doing and communicating to you. And I want to give you whatever I can from this account. Click the link in my bio or just like and subscribe for more content so that we can kind of go over creative strategy and what those ads are actually trying to say to you. And maybe, just maybe, you don't have to be wasting ad dollars if you nail it with the creative and your messaging and your demographic and all of those good visual, buttery, sweet somethings. I don't know. I promise you that there is a combination out there that you will crack for your brand if you are able to look into the creative strategy. It's not through throwing more money at it, and it's not through comparing how many ads you are running compared to another brand. It is only by what the ads that you are running are communicating back about how on course you are with your targeting and your messaging and how you're showing up as a brand. So that's my little spiel. I'll see you around.